On like 3 minutes to spare.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome to Christmas time. We have 10 people on the air right now.
They're all shopping.
Oh, brother. Well, we have 100 more closings to go between now, so nobody can really take off because we got to close all these deals. So
That's right.
we got to have to use our personal powers today for the greater good.
Yes, sir.
I heard your presentation.
Reflect on 2022 and inspire for 2023.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you guys run with it. I'll be here.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. In just a second. Just real quick, I wanted to just say that Jim came in excited this morning. He had read a passage in the Positive Personality Profile book. And we already have something that we want to talk about for February's class and meeting, whatever. So that's exciting. And he may want to read it. I don't know. He may get a wild hair and want to read it to you today. We'll see.
Yeah, you know damn well I want to read it.
I know you do. And I'm okay with that. If you want to read it now or later, whatever you want to do, that is fine with me. Okay. Oh, Craig, it's saying, I'm trying to share my screen and it's saying host only.
You're a co-host.
Okay, well, I don't know why.
I'll make you the host if you want.
Okay,
Now you're a full host.
awesome.
Instead of half host.
That's right. Let's see, let me pull up my PowerPoint. This is weird. Let's see. Share screen, host. Okay, never had this happen. Technical difficulties.
When you hit the share screen button, what does it say?
Ah, there we go. It's finally clicked. I don't know why. For some reason, it was hanging back. Okay, cool.
It's Craig what you do.
Now you're sharing.
Okay, you can see it now. Okay.
Yep.
All right, everybody, welcome Friday, December 16th, 2022. Wrapping up, I know Craig and Jeff have their final Big Ass Smile Mastermind meeting today at 10:30 to wrap up all the fun stuff that they've been trying to work with everyone on, and a lot of success with that. I found this. I'm big into finding inspirational, motivational stuff all the time, and that's what we need to remember. Every day is a new day. It's a new beginning.
What's that picture?
I know it looks like it's like frozen, like a lake or something. I don't know what it is, but they made it lavender, so now you can't really tell what it is. I don't know. It could be the surface of Mars for all we know. Anyway, today's topic, like I said, we're going to reflect on 2022, the things that we've already talked to everyone about, and then some inspiration for 2023, give you some things to think about, some homework, some hopefully information that will inspire you. Another fun one I found, 2 things you are in total control of in your life are your attitude and your effort. Because if you don't have those things, you're not going to make anything happen.
How about if you add relationships onto that?
Well,
Are we in
Yeah.
control of our relationships, or are other people in control of us?
I don't know. What do you think?
Uh-oh, I don't know.
I
I think you can be
think
if
it's a
you
little
work
mix,
on it.
right? Yep.
Are we going to have to control our relationships in order to get business with customers that can't put their property on the market and sell it for twice what they bought it for right now?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, as realtors, we do have to control the scenario. We have to, when things start to go down the wrong path, we have to pull it back. We have to make compromises. We have things we have to do. Yep. Just want to, in saying that we were just going to review just very quickly what we've already covered in the last 6 months, 8 months of meeting with everyone. The positive personality profile. Jim and I are huge fans of the DISC and all the ways that it helps you. And I saw the partnering up with Jim as me bringing a little bit of a spin to it that that we felt like it needed, was to bring it down to an arena where people could see how it would benefit you. And that's what we've been doing the last 8 months, is trying to point out to everyone the ways that it is helping. And we've seen an increase in the amount of people that are taking the test for us now. Not just the people that, when we're hiring new agents, but agents that have been with us for a long time that had never taken it before are now taking it and seeing the benefits. So we're really, really pleased about that. We quickly point out that when you take the test, you'll see that there is an environmental style and a basic style. And the environmental style is the way that you're feeling at the time that you took the test, but it doesn't necessarily reflect your true personality. Your basic style is what reflects your true personality. And that's why Jim likes everybody to put an X through the environmental style.
Yeah, because you can change that environmental style anytime you want. If you go into a party and you really want to impress people, you dress real well and you seem really outgoing and you're smiling and all that other stuff. And you may really be down deep miserable, but you needed to
But that's
have
the
a different
environment you're
persona.
in, right?
So, and generally when you meet someone and you interview them, and let's say a customer, that customer is now dealing with a real estate agent. Real estate agents don't generally have the best reputation in the world. So that client is going to act a little bit different from the way they might really react when you become the best friend later.
Right, because they don't know you. They're just getting to know you.
So if you're going to take the test, we want to make sure that we can go deeper than what you're trying to portray when you're taking the test, and find out who you really are. And that's really the interesting thing about it.
And that's the fun part. I like it when people take the test and we get to talk about it. And then we just hit on 3 of the pages, that one, and then some of the other pages that are in the personality profile test that comes out, the results of the test, and the words that best describe you, and that you can use these words to describe yourself when you're writing your bio. You can use these words when you are doing something in social media to promote yourself. So those are the words that describe Jim. These are the words that describe me. And then we reflected on the page that talks about each of us as a team member and what those positive things say about you, and just kind of opens up. I've had a lot of people that took the test, and when we sit and talk about it, they are so amazed at how this test just hits the nail on the head for them. They just can't believe how it describes them to a T.
But just imagine if you were applying for a job, and we don't know how to write resumes and stuff, a lot of us. And if you took that team member thing and you read it and you just copied that and wrote it, saying, I'm applying for a job as a waiter in a restaurant. And I took this thing as a team member, main strengths, all the motivational, and you just copied that and printed it on a resume. And you were up against 5 other people that wanted to become waiters. You'd win the
You
job
would win it.
because you
Yeah, it writes itself for you.
got to stay away from that thing at the bottom where it says people may misunderstand you, because
Right.
that's for you personally to see how to make yourself a better person.
Right, and we talked about that, how people that don't know you will misunderstand you. And when you're under pressure, those things come out, and we talked about,
They're called blind spots.
blind spots and ways that all of us can try to recognize when we're feeling stressed and we see those blind spots in ourselves starting to come up, that we could try to, control them. We also, this is in Dotloop. This is also in the Next Level Resource Center. These are helpful hints of how, if you are meeting with someone that obviously hasn't taken the DISC, these are quick little tips in order for you to try to figure out what type of personality they are in a quick kind of setting, and so that you can accommodate the personality.
Mirror and match.
Mirror match them, yeah. And we talk about mirror matching a lot in the Bagans educational process. Then we went into, as we just said, use some of those keywords for your personality. So Jim is a DC, and these are very strong words that describe him, and use those to your benefit. I'm an SC, and these are my strong words that describe me. Then we talked about, Craig had gone to a broker summit and came back with the agent archetype that a lot of the brokerages use to describe the different personalities of their agents. And Jim and I saw how those match up to the DISC. So we matched them up, and we were able to correlate it with the personality profile. And I just took a handout that we had received through the Tom Ferry organization, gosh, I don't even know, 3 years ago. And I pulled some things off of there that a D personality, a prospector personality, would be comfortable doing as a way to generate leads for yourself. So I took that and I matched it to the D, the I, and we went over this, I think, 2 episodes ago, the S and the C, and ways to help everyone kind of do some things. So if I were an agent, I would look at the S and the C and find several things on there, 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things that I could do, incorporate into my schedule that I could do on a weekly, monthly basis to grow my business. Because that's what this is. This is your business, and you have to be the one to work it. You have to be the one that makes it happen. Then we talked about what the pressure, the words that describe us when we're under pressure, because like we said earlier, it's important to know when you feel yourself getting stressed. And that led us into an episode where we talked about how you can use, how you can, the stress can affect your, your work, your family, your friends, every part of your life. And we talked about some of the health problems that come from stress, and how the different personality profiles have actually also link up to the different personality types that the medical profession use when they're identifying a person by their, when it comes to their health and their physical, their psychological well-being. And we,
Well, stay on that one for a
Yeah,
second, because each one of these personalities, there's a certain percentage of the population that are prone to be one of these personalities. So a D personality is generally around only 10% of the population. And for that, the other 90% are thankful, because they're really a pain in the ass.
No, it's not.
The I personalities are about 25 to 35%, and that's great because they're outgoing, fun people. The S personalities are really the highest because they're the supportive people, the friendly people and all that stuff. And then the C personalities are 20% because they're almost as big a pain in the ass as the D personalities because they overanalyze things and stuff. So you got to realize that if you're a combination of all these things, that's the best. If you were equal in all these
Oh,
things,
sure.
then I compare that to Jesus Christ, which not too many of us compare at
No.
that level. So there's an awful lot in this. So you should understand who you are, what your basic personalities are, what the combination is, and how strong it is. And when you're overemphasizing one of the personalities, understand that you're not communicating that well with the opposite personalities. So you got to handle people.
Yep, you do.
That's kind of the job, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really.
it is. It definitely is. Then we came up with some quick fixes for you when you feel yourself getting stressed. Just, some quick fixes to help you get back to center, help you de-stress, so to speak. And we talked about, stress management, things you can do to keep yourself healthy and not go down the road of some of those bad health problems that we showed earlier. So just, in keeping with trying to bring information to everyone and expand on the benefits of knowing your personality and knowing the different things that it can teach us, both positive and negative. Another fun thing I found, everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. And I think that when I saw that, it seemed very fitting, because that's what we're doing. We're reflecting today on what we have brought to everyone so far in 2022. And that's what people do toward the end of the year, the beginning of the year. They reflect on what they did or didn't accomplish in the year. And a lot of people set intentions for 2023, for the new year.
Well, isn't it frustrating right now? Because I think if we said, okay, what are we going to reflect on for 2023? What direction are we going to go in? And I think most of us, or almost all of us, will say, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen. The choices that I'm going to make are based on, inflation and insurance rates, red tide,
Interest
construction.
rates.
And we could do such a list of that. And then we say, okay, what are the results I want? Well, I want to be successful. I was successful in 2022, but what do I have to change to make myself successful in 2023? I think you really got to know yourself, because you're not going to know what the economy is going to do. You get different opinions every newscast you listen to. So what we have to say is, are we going to be able to change with the market, or do we have to change everything that we're going to do? I mean, if we have a background in real estate, then at least you got the basics.
Right.
then let's figure out what we have to modify in order to figure out where we're going in this next market.
Yep.
There is definitely a recessionary trend and maybe a deflationary and maybe a whole big change from what our market was before. It's going to be a lot more similar to 2008 than it was in 2014 or so.
Right.
But we knew what we had to do in 2008. We know what we're going to have to do if we're going into a recession in 2023.
Mhm.
There's different steps we take. And most agents don't have a company behind them like ours that are going to walk you through the steps, but you
Exactly.
got to listen to the steps too.
Exactly. Yep. And, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Bagans has daily training. Jeff and Craig and Chris and the other managers are pulling together to try to make sure everybody has the tools and what they need in order to feel confident going into this changing market. So, you know, I feel that we're giving our people what they need. And the only thing that's going to keep them from making it is that they're not engaging, they're not tuning in, they're not, and if they're not seeing what we're saying right now. But the people that do watch the daily trainings and do, or go back and watch the recordings of the daily trainings, that's wonderful, because you are with a brokerage that cares about you making it. And I love that we, you know, we all pull together and you know, try to help everyone.
You know, the best tool we have? Ourselves.
Yep.
We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. We damn well better capitalize on our strengths in order to make it through whatever job you happen to have now or whatever one you're going to change into. But those strengths, you have to know them first.
Yep.
And many of us don't know. We're so confused. We don't know whether we're mostly outgoing or supportive or overly analytical or whatever. We're all of them, but we have to see
Different degrees.
how we're going to
Yeah.
use each one of them to benefit ourselves and our families.
Yeah. So, you know, to our point, you know, take the disc. If you haven't taken it, take it, because it will help you in so many ways. I mean, we can't even say it enough. So in inspiring everyone for 2023, I was thinking of all the different, over the year, I've had so many agents say, oh, I read this book and it changed the way I think about, you know, life, or I read that book and it changed me. And the one book that I consistently heard more people talk about than any book, and I obviously have read it as well, is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there's just no denying that these 7 habits, if you just take the Cliff Notes version of this book and just look at these 7 habits and look at what they mean, I, again, can see the reflection of the answers to some of these questions in what Bagans is offering the company and offering our agents. So let's just dive into that, and I'll show you what it is. So the 7 habits are: be proactive, which what they're meaning is take responsibility for your life. And I mean, that's key. That really, without number 1, the rest of everything is not going to fall into place.
You better find out who you are before you can
Yep.
take responsibility for that.
Yeah, take
Who
responsibility
am I?
for your career, for your relationships, for your life. Yeah,
And that's a
just-
10-minute personality test that we paid for.
Exactly. Yep. Habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. And what Stephen means by that is define what you want to achieve.
This is called your primary aim.
I know, well, you're gonna see it.
The biggest,
You already
the
know.
biggest,
You're
well,
ruining
this is my
it.
biggest
I
frustration.
know, you're ruining it for everyone.
It's 5 years. What do you want your life to be like for 5 years?
Right, exactly. Habit number 3, first things first, which is prioritize and manage your time, which is a schedule. Number 4, think win-win. Find a solution that benefits both sides. I love that because compromise is something that I feel I encounter every day. And I encourage our agents when someone calls me and they are in a situation where one person is trying to take something down this road, I'm always trying to find the compromise. I'm always trying to find the middle ground. Number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood, which is listen to other people's ideas and feelings. That's huge. I feel like so many people, the thing we were just talking about earlier before we started the program was about people listening and actually noticing other people's feelings and personality and what makes them who they are. Synergize, I love that word. Create cooperation through teamwork. And we, again, talk about that in Bagans all the time. Team, you're part of a team. One of my favorite things is no one succeeds alone. And it's true. No one agent can, no matter what brokerage you sign up for, there's always a broker or a team behind you. And if you're happy with that brokerage, then it's because you're happy with the team that you have behind you. And number 7 habit is sharpen the saw, which is self-renewal physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And that comes into play with the whole thing we were talking about of setting intentions for 2023. A lot of people will start to reflect on their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health when they're going into a new year. They set intentions for a better life.
This book was the basis of Century 21 way before Bagans Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
It is what we used to develop the regional concept. It was what we developed when we got Bagans Enterprises off the ground. It's the art of life betterment, the art of real estate, all those things came from this book.
Yep.
And right now, if this book is a good book, we ought to look at those 7 things and say, what are we going to do in 2023 to take care of all those things?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. So we talked about what they are, and spoiler alert, Jim was right. This is almost all of this is on your primary aim, and that is the Bagans art of life betterment. We took all of these things and rolled it into something that you can literally sit down and write out. You can write your intentions, write your what's inspiring you to what your life is going to look like 5 years from now.
You know, my biggest frustration with this is 10 brothers and sisters, 2 sons, bunch of grandchildren, all this stuff. And when I'm talking to them and they're all stressed out, getting in trouble, I say, what's your primary aim look like? Well, I don't know. I'm so frustrated. I don't know what I'm going to do with this deal. And my car's broken down and all the other stuff. And I said, well, what's your life going to look like 5 years from now? Biggest problem with our agents and with ourselves is we worry about what are you going to have for lunch?
Mhm.
Well, 5 years from now, what's your life going to look like? So it really doesn't matter what you eat for lunch. It
Right.
matters your relationships and what your kids are like 5 years, what the economy's like, what the
Mhm.
red tide's like, what the all the other stuff. What's the world like?
Right.
And once you get out of your own head and say, okay, what would be the ideal situation for me now?
Right, just imagine your best life.
Yeah, now, if you really do this, and then someone comes to you 90 days later and says, do it again, you get pissed off, you don't want to do it.
Mhm.
But if you get in the habit of, okay, it's another quarter, let me go ahead
Let me just
5
go back
years
and look at
again.
my primary
What I
aim
did,
and
what
see-
I'm gonna do.
Yeah, see, look at your primary aim, revisit it, what, 2, 3, 4 times a year, and see that you may have already started working toward or accomplishing some of the things that you had intentions to do, or that you saw that you wanted your life to look like. And it's inspiring. It makes you, it energizes you to continue, to
I
keep working.
wonder if there's a lot of people, or I know there's a lot of people, there is every year, that at the end of the year, they say, am I going to continue in the real estate business, or am I going to get out of the real estate business?
Mhm.
Real estate goes in cycles. About every 10
does.
years, you have a different cycle. So if you go 5 years from now, whatever we're going through right now will be different.
Mhm.
And is real estate a good industry? It's a great industry. Unlimited opportunities for money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you got no money now, so you say, hey, I can get a job as a waiter or something, and make a salary.
Mhm.
Well, you can actually treat this like a real job and make a bigger salary.
Yeah,
How do you do that? Well, you
absolutely.
go through 7 habits and go through primary aim. And is there anything after a primary aim that we tied to 7 habits?
Yes.
Oh my
The
God.
90-day checklist, imagine that.
So maybe on this
The-
90-day checklist, you got to do a primary aim again in 90 days?
Yeah,
Why would you
If
want to
you-
do that?
if you want to play the game. Yep,
And it's a game, right? And it's a game that
It can
won,
be.
and it's been winning with our company. And we got all this from Stephen Covey 40 years ago, or whenever he wrote the book.
Mhm.
Or,
mhm. Yep. So that's what I did. I took the 7 habits and I wrote out how that looks if you take the 7 habits and apply it to your real estate career and to the Art of Life Betterment that Bagans has set up. Then these are the answers to the 7 habits. Is number 1, be proactive. Can I hold myself accountable? Am I holding myself accountable to the things that I need to do and I know I need to do in order to be the best realtor I can be? Number 2, begin with the end in mind. What is your why? That's the whole purpose. The end in mind is, what's your goal? What's your why? What's your dream? What's your primary aim? Number 3, first things first. Do I have a schedule for the day, the week, the month? If you have intentions and you know what you want to do, then you need to, in order to hold yourself accountable, a schedule is the best way to do it. Think win-win. Am I focusing on my strengths or am I focusing on my weaknesses? When you think of it in that way, if you're focusing on your strengths, then it's easier, I think, for someone to see the compromise in a situation. If you're always focusing on your weaknesses and you're not holding yourself accountable and you're not doing the things you know you need to do, then you're not going to think win-win. You're going to think opposite. Number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood, is, to me, is saying, do I need a coach? Do I need a mentor? Do I need someone to help hold me accountable? And again, that's available to everyone in this organization. Number 6, synergize. Do I need a transaction coordinator? Do I need a team member? To create that synergy, you might need someone to assist you, not to coach you or mentor you, but to assist you in all of the daily, weekly, monthly things that you need to get done. And then sharpen the saw. Am I working on my personal, spiritual, physical, career, community growth? These are all things that are on the primary aim. What's your personal life look like? What does your spiritual life look like? Physical, your career, your community. These are all things that are on the primary aim that people think about when they are wanting to set intentions for the new year. So it's all there. And like you said, the book was a foundation for putting this all together. And I think that's what gives it the magic.
You know, this is a foundation for me too, because I want to change what I'm doing 2023. I don't want to do the real estate that I did before. What my goal is to, I know the middle class is going away. They can't afford stuff. So, and the middle class is going away, the lower class is screwed. And so if I can help the lower class, it'll help the middle class. And that's what I'm doing. I have a whole program to do that. It's still tied to real estate, but it's a whole different form of real estate, which is now very exciting to me after 50 years in this business. I'm now going in a direction that is complementary to every other direction that I've been in, but totally different. So, and it ties into all these 7 things. So think win-win. If I think win and I lose, I'll wait to see before I tell you what I'm doing. See if I win.
But even failure, I mean, everybody sees, little quotes about that too. You're not failing. You're just try a different way. Try a different idea.
If you win, lose, and it looks like you're losing, you just, in order to win, you change.
Just pick yourself back up and just go at it again. There's many, oh my gosh, many business owners and that I've seen over the years that they've interviewed, and they tried an idea time and time again, but they finally, and that leads me to a video that I'm going to show everybody at the end.
I sent out an email on ADUs to everybody.
Tell everybody what ADU means.
No, I'm not going to tell you what it meant, because I told them all in the email.
Okay.
And I got very little response from it, which blew my mind, because it's one of the biggest game changers in the history of real estate. And I know it's going to evolve into something which allows you to take a fixed zoning of a property and change that zoning without effort. So next.
Okay. All right.
More later.
We'll reveal when you're ready. Okay, cool. So the 2023 inspirational ideas for everyone is, what I did is I took a little bit of what the managers got together in October, and everybody really liked the whole idea of matching up tasks to a person's personality profile, to a person's agent archetype. And we had a spreadsheet, everybody added to it, and put in some ideas of things that everyone can do. And so I just took that and had Craig's blessing to take it and use it, and just formatted it so that it actually will help people. And I know Angelique is going to put this up on the Next Level Resource Center when we're done, so everybody will be able to get a copy of it, or we'll send it out to the team, whatever everybody wants to do. But we took the 4 personality profiles and matched it to the agent archetype and the prospector, networker, converter, and marketer. And Jeff has given it a name, your superpower, and everybody likes that superpower idea. So if you want to be the best agent that you can be, if you're setting an intention to be the best agent you can be, in 2023 and for the rest of your career, then this is your homework. These are the things that you just have to have in place if you're going to make it in a changing market. And you should, if you've been an agent for years, you already have these things in place. Or if you've been an agent for years and you haven't maybe refined your listing presentation, or you maybe see that you could make it better, then this is your time. This is your motivation to do that. So everyone.
So if you look at all that stuff on the left.
Yeah,
and,
let's highlight this one because I
do I
think-
do all that stuff? And if it's overwhelming to me, because my personality is goes towards a certain number of those things, then maybe in 2023, I find someone else to team up with me to
Yeah.
that likes to do the crap on there that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe it's going to take a team of 2 or 3 people or 5
Right.
people or whatever.
So you synergize.
Yeah.
You synergize and you find someone that you want to team up with. And we.
But if
as-
you don't do these things, you're screwed in 2023.
Absolutely. To be the best agent you can be, these things should be in place regardless of whether it's, the market that we just came out of for 2 years that was pants on fire, or whether you're heading into a market that's challenging. These are the things that a good agent, a good realtor should already have in place. And if you're starting out, you've just gotten into the business this year and you're just trying to figure it all out, then this is your homework. This is it. And if it takes you all year to get all of these things set up, that's okay. That's the point, is that so many people let all of this overwhelm them. And the point is that you take them one by one and you do them. Your job is to get these things done so that your career is the best career you can make it.
So Julie, you're a marketer and a converter, an S and a C.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't really even worry about that, those first 2. You could put an X on those first 2 categories. And you'd look at all the converter stuff and the marketer stuff and say, which one of those lanes would you want to work on in 2023 to make
Correct.
the most amount of money and have the most fun, right?
Right. But these are tasks in order to generate leads. This needs to be in place so that you're ready for the leads.
What needs to be in place?
The homework. These things need to be set up. So in order.
Everybody's got to do that.
Right. You need to know how to use dotloop. You need to be ready to write a listing agreement, to write a contract. You need to have a bulletproof listing process. You need to be ready to go into a client's home and just knock their socks off with the best listing presentation that you can possibly give them. And we have all this in place with Moxie. And all of these are live links that take you right into Teachables. It takes you right into the Next Level Resource Center, where all of the education and all of the videos, everything is in here. So Angelique worked on these links into the Teachable platform. So every single one, you can just go right into it and start working on it. I mean, it doesn't even get any easier than this. It's just about
to me, it's
doing
not
work.
easy because I'm a different personality, and I just say, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be the best. I want to help people in 2023, and half of these things I want someone else to do. So I want to find someone else that's
fine.
more of a analytical person or a supportive person to work with me.
Yep.
Because this is too overwhelming for me, because I want to go and win the race. I don't want to care about all the
Yeah,
details. to
and
do
that's
that.
fine, and that's fine, you know, but it doesn't negate the fact that it has to get done. That if you have to team up with somebody in order to know how to do these basic things that should be a part of your, that's in your toolkit to be a realtor. If you don't have these,
So
then
this is
you're
actually
doing
your whole
yourself an
toolkit
injustice.
on this
This
one-
is the whole
one
toolkit
thing.
right here. This is what you need to do to be set up to work. And these are tasks that you can do. So you are a D and you are a C. So pick two
So I
or
put
three
an X on
things.
the red one and the
Yep.
blue one, because I don't want to mess with those.
Right,
I can if,
you can if you want to.
because I do have some, that networker in the converter,
Right.
and maybe I want to join a Zillow team or something like that.
Mhm.
This is a whole game plan
Yeah,
for,
this is the game plan for 2023.
and you can change it every quarter, right? But
Sure.
we ask for you to stick to this game plan for the first
Yep.
quarter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the game plan. I'm gonna jump in here and look at some of our chats real quick. Oh, okay, so Lauren Fleshman said, and it will also help with your relationships. Yes, the DISC will help with your relationships, absolutely. In the, you know, every kind, whether they're personal or, you know, business, friendship. Mike Clayman, and they don't want to pay us any commissions. We are doing this for the glory. I'm not 100% sure. That must have been something we were talking about. Okay. Copy of the PowerPoint. So Lauren said to Michael that all the trainings, Angelique puts those out. Yep. So you'll see this training on Angelique's email on I think Monday she puts it out. And the hard copy and everything will be in there. So a lot of people are asking about the book. So the book, let me pull that back up again for a screenshot of the
7
book.
habits.
Yep. Is 7.
Just Google 7 habits, you'll find
Yeah, if you just
videos
do
and all
7 habits, it's going to come up right away. It's one of the most popular motivational books in the entire world. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yep. And just real quick. Michael just ordered the book. Awesome. Everybody likes the spreadsheet. Awesome, awesome. So back to the spreadsheet.
Let's take one person on there, and let's say that you're an off-the-wall promoter, networker,
Okay.
all right? But remember, there is no one that is a 100% promoter that doesn't have some of those other qualities
Exactly.
in there.
Exactly.
So, but if you're going to focus for the first quarter, the networker should join groups. Why? Because they like people.
Yeah, because that's what they like. They like to talk to people.
Chamber of Commerce, National Association of Realtors, sponsoring neighborhood welcoming events, open houses, all these fun things to
that
do.
are very social.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's what they like.
they're great because when you're social, you relate to other social people. They come to the same parties, and people like people that are like themselves. So at that party, you're going to get people that know you and like you and give you business, and then you form a huge group of people that to other personalities, a D or a C, they don't want a whole group of people. I don't want to go to that party, right?
Yeah.
But understand that. What else? Happy, a lender has a happy hour and they pay for the drinks and stuff, and you host it with them. How about that?
Yep. Everybody should work on expires, withdrawals, and canceled. And for a networker, it would be calling expireds because they like to talk to people. They're very social.
Or when you find these people that sometimes can be tough, like expireds for sale by owners,
Mhm.
you make a call and you're outgoing, so you kind of relate to them and you'll excite them and make them happy. So you just pick the ones that you relate to. The other ones that are jerks, you just hang up on and
Yeah.
do that. But you can take that whole box, copy it if that's what your main personality
Mhm.
thing is. And then maybe the second highest, if you're an IS, you might take that S converter box
Mhm.
and do some of those things.
Absolutely.
Or
do
you
a
may,
couple
just
of
if you're
things
really
on each one.
inquisitive, go, do a D thing or a C thing.
Yep. Whatever. I mean, the point is that all of these things work, but you have to continue to do them. The point is that people get frustrated and they only half-heartedly do one or two things, and they feel that if they don't get a result right away, then it's not working. But that's not the truth. The truth is, farming is a great example. I'm a huge fan of farming, and when I was an agent, it was the majority of the way that I got my leads. And farming works, but farming only works if you stay at it for a period of time. People
So
aren't
it
just
worked for
going to.
you, but you are a converter marketer, an SC.
Mhm.
So
So
the
farming-
C in you shows, that the numbers work
Mhm.
because you're a C, and you know that the supportive things because you get along great with people. So you want to meet everybody in the neighborhood. So
Mhm.
you're an ideal farmer.
Mhm. Everybody's an ideal farmer. It's the way you do it. For a D, farming looks like door knocking. I'm not as outgoing and social as a D or an I. So for me, farming was mailers and sending CMAs to people and stuff like that. For a D, they love door knocking, and
I
they
hated
like
door knocking. I drove the truck and took the agents, and I stopped and let them walk the neighborhood, and they got business. And then I said, okay, see you tomorrow. We'll get in the truck and we'll drive around and do that. But that for me was not what I don't like to talk to people. And when I knocked on doors, I hope they didn't answer.
Really?
Really?
Wow,
Still.
I'm surprised. Okay. Well, that just shoots my whole thing down about the D farming thing.
No, but I believed in farming totally. And we
just
owned
didn't
our
wanna do
areas because of this, but I did it by helping other people
Okay.
that were out there. Like you and I could go out farming. I'll drive you around all day. You go and say, Jim, I just found this great person. When they're going to list the property, we'll go in and great, jump in the truck. We'll go to another one.
Yep, there you go. I love it. I love it. So.
Every one of these things can be done by all four personality
Oh,
styles.
absolutely.
But you'll look at all these things on your combination of the personalities that you are and say, which would be the most fun for the next quarter?
Absolutely.
And let's try that.
Absolutely. So the point is have your business in place. Know the key things that you need to have ready to go to be the best realtor you can be in 2023 and moving forward. Pick a lane or 2 lanes and pick some tasks. The point that I really want to drive home is do not take on more than you know you can give 100% to. That is the key. The key is to take 1, 2, 3 things and incorporate them into your schedule. Even people that are not analytical definitely see the benefit of having some type of schedule, even if there's just 5 things that you want to get done in a day, or 3 things that you want to get done in a day. Everyone can understand the importance of setting an intention for the day, because if you don't, then the day gets away from you and you don't get anything done at all.
Could a manager take this piece of paper and sit down with each agent and
Yep.
just once every 90 days and make little circles around the things that the agent wants to do, and then the manager can hold them accountable to things that they've already said they will be held accountable, and
Yep.
make it easy for both, right?
Yep. And literally when when the managers were talking about all this back in October, I envisioned it at the time, and this is what I, as a manager, am going to use now going forward with all of the agents on the beaches, is these things have to be in place if you want to be a successful agent. I mean, they just have to be. And whatever your time looks like, your job is to get this done. I want to.
So wait a minute, 30 seconds, if I were to do this, okay. So I'm a C personality. My primary aim, I got to make 100 grand next year. My business plan is to do 4 of the C type tasks over there. The listing agreement, all the buying process. I'll be working on that in the quarter.
Mhm.
And will you coach me in 90 days after we circle all these things and hold me accountable to that?
Absolutely.
Okay, and what if I don't do it?
Then you're not going to be the best realtor you can be. And I'm going to say, okay, we got to start over again.
Okay, so in 90 days, when I sit in front of you and say, well, I didn't do it, say, okay, well, that's all right. Well, let's see what we're going to do next quarter. Give you another chance.
Okay. And then
Pretty
there's
simple.
a few, yeah. And, 3 strikes and you're out. I mean, I don't know what to say. This is your business. And if you don't want to make money and you don't want to be successful as a real estate agent, then you maybe don't belong with Bagans, or I don't know, maybe you should go into the Bagans referral network. And if you have a lead, refer it to someone, and then you make, a referral fee, but you don't have to do any of the actual
Well, depending
work.
on your personality,
You
you
know.
might take what you said wrong, but maybe it's not wrong.
It's
So 3 strikes,
true.
you're out. So let's say that I do this, and the first strike is the end of the first quarter, and I've done like 20% of it. And you pat me on the back and say, okay, you did 20%. What do you want to do to the next quarter? Well, I'll straighten out some.
Yeah.
And the second quarter, I do 40%. And so we sit down and you say, okay, what are you going to do the third quarter? Well, I looked at the first and the second quarter, and I've made more money than I made in the last 5 years by just doing the 20 and the 40%.
Mhm.
So I'm never going to get to the third strike. I'm just going to meet with you every quarter, and you're going to help me. And maybe I'm going to take a quarter off and go to the Bahamas or something like that.
As long as you're making money, and that what you're making is good for your life, your lifestyle, that's fine. It's all about what their goal is, what
So
their
we're
why
going to try to
is.
trick you into thinking you have a real job and show you how you had a real
That's
job,
right.
you make a lot of money.
That's right.
Sums it up.
I like it. All right. I have a video to share with everybody, and it's longer than the ones we've shown before, but it's so good.
Do we, we
Yeah, it'll run over a little bit, but I really think that it's worth watching. And for those that have to go, I understand. But I think that when I ran across this week, it sums up to me. This is of Snack Nation, which is one of the largest healthy food vending machine companies in the United States. And this gentleman's story, to me, summed up what we've just been talking about. He didn't know what to do to get a business off the ground, and he failed, and he was in bankruptcy. And then he had an epiphany, which was, hey, if I'm gonna make it, then I am the one that has to make it. I have to learn what it is that needs to get done in order to make my business successful. And you have to take that mindset that if you want it, then you're the only one that's gonna get it. And I really like what he says. So I'm gonna close with this for the end of 2022. I hope this inspires everyone. And Jim and I will see everyone in February of 2023 if we don't see you before.
And happy holidays.
Happy
everybody.
holidays. All right, here we go.
I believe there's a huge difference in the way that successful people and unsuccessful people think. And I believe that success itself is not some big mystery that people haven't figured out before, even though when we are struggling and we're fighting and we're just trying to make it through day by day and get better and better and better, it can feel like this arduous, unknowable process. But success has been figured out. And we all know it's a mindset game. I mean, most of success is just about how we use our psychology. I remember when I was going to start my business and I really wanted to be good at it. I was trying to become an author and a speaker and do these types of videos and do some online training for people on the topics of motivation and marketing. And, all these people were saying, well, Brendan, you may or may not be successful at that, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, it's a weird thing. It's not like there's a trait of successful people. You look across history and successful people, they're not from a given background. They don't come from a specific economic stature. They're not in a position where, they're one demographic or another demographic. It's all over. I mean, we've got thousands of collective years of history. People succeed. Some people do, some people don't. And I think it more comes down to how do we manage our mind and how do we manage our days? And I think that there's a difference between successful people and unsuccessful people in the way they particularly think about approaching something new. I think unsuccessful people, when they have a big dream and they start thinking about what's going to be required to accomplish that dream, they get very limiting in their beliefs about themselves and what's possible. And specifically, they say three types of things. The first thing they often say is, well, I don't know how to do that. So they stop. They say, I don't have those things. So they stop. Or they say, I don't know, I'm not like those people. I'm not like that. And so they stop. But successful people have a different way. They have the same thing. Everybody dreams. You dream, I dream. Successful people dream. People just starting out. Everybody dreams. Everyone has a vision. Everyone, if they could just take 5 minutes today and think about their lives, we could all come up with ways to improve our lives and reach another level of success, joy, happiness, achievement, contribution, fulfillment, soul. We can all elevate. But the challenge is that the unsuccessful people, they keep stopping when they think of what they currently know, have, or are. But successful people will say, well, I want to do that, but I don't know how to do that. But instead of stopping, they say, well, then my job is to go learn that. They take their current limitation and they put it on their agenda as a job to do, as a thing to figure out, a thing to make happen. Instead of saying, well, I don't have that, they say, well, then my job is to go build that. Or I'm not like that. Then they say, well, then my job is to go become more of that, become that person who could accomplish those things. When I was starting to do online marketing for the first time, and I don't know how much of my story you know, but when I started doing online marketing, I was literally bankrupt. And I went from a place of bankruptcy to the point where I really committed to becoming successful at it. And in 18 months, I made $4.8 million, 4.6 collective. And it was just a huge leap, right, in difference from bankrupt to multimillionaire in the span of 18 months. But what made that breakthrough wasn't that I had new opportunities. It wasn't that I had new technologies. It was like, wow, there's the internet now. Those things were already there. I went from this level of thinking to this level of thinking. I used to say, well, I don't know how to build a web page. So I said, agenda, figure out how to build a web page. And I spent hours and hours and hours at nights, on weekends from my job, figuring out how to do that. And I said, well, I don't have one of those lists. I don't have any subscribers. Nobody knows who I am. So I said, job, go build a list. Go get subscribers. Go add value and content out in the marketplace, and they'll come. I mean, just keep putting stuff out there. And I also didn't say, oh my gosh, well, I have that dream. I can't have that because I'm not like that. Because I wasn't a public speaker. I didn't know how to do video. I wasn't like, well, I'm not one of those video people. Well, I'm not a public speaker. So I said, you know what? I have to go learn that art. I have to go become a better speaker, a better communicator. I have to go become more confident. I have to go become a person capable of doing these things. I have to change myself to get there. I can't wait for circumstances to change so I can have my dream. Then our dreams would never happen. We have to get to the point of maturity in our lives where we say, okay, two things are going to change my life. Something new is going to come into my life and make me lucky and blessed. And maybe I can't count on that forever. And maybe now instead, I have to consciously design my life and say, okay, now if I want to change, if I want my dream, something new has to come from me. I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to become a person who is more optimistic, who is more confident, who is more driven. Not because I'm that now, but because we can grow. That you can become the type of person who needs to, who you need to be to achieve your ideal life. You can start today living from your highest ideals, your highest sense of self, your strongest sense of self. You don't need permission. You don't need a guy like me to look at the video camera and say, you have now permission. But if you've been waiting for it, you have permission. It's like at some point in your life, you just say, okay, I have permission to become my best self. And by becoming your best self, you start to achieve your best things. You start to contribute better things. You start to become a better human being. You can do that now, today. So next time you're thinking about a big dream, don't think about the things that, well, I don't know how to do that, and stop. Think, I don't know how. So set it up on your calendar to go learn those things. I don't have that, then set it up step by step to go build that. I'm not like that, then set it up step by step to go develop those skill sets and those competencies so you can become that, and ultimately you can achieve that dream. It's there, it's waiting for you. Don't stop.
Love it. All right. What's it doing? Stop. Let me go back to my Zoom. Ah.
Still got 30 participants, they must be sleeping.
No, Julie, you're the host. I can't stop it.
Okay, gotcha.
Good job. I love that spreadsheet. Of course I did.
All right, awesome. Everybody have a great day.